Thank you so much for coming in. How much of a difference is this going to make as far as providing not only widespread, well, not increasing in just energy provision, but also clean energy?
So the first thing that we need to also understand is that the notice to get people to register as well as to be licensed is essentially going to create a situation where we've got more different types of generators other than Eskom and as well as the IPPs that are producing electricity for South Africa. So it's adding to our electricity security mix as well as obviously the cleanness of the type of electricity that we're using. We're not particularly sure at what scale the potential is at, but there are different studies that are telling us that it's from maybe 8 gigawatts to anything above that. And
just on who would be able to do this sort of thing, bypassing, of course, the previous permissions that had to be sought from the minister, will this apply to people who are generating solar energy for commercial purposes, or would it just be for you and I in our homes, or a mall that decides to put up a system?
Well, there are two types of applications, if I may put it like that. So there's the people who would be the big industry users, maybe your malls as well as some of the commercial buildings that are producing above 1 megawatt, and then everybody else who's below that. So we would also be able to participate in that kind of arrangement if we're producing below 1 megawatt. Depending on which side that you fall on that coin, there are different requirements, of course, and hence NERSA had to make sure that those regulations are passed through. They're still in draft format right now, and they should be passing them quite soon, hence the letter by the minister.
And what was the issue with the previous regulations which required some level of permissions to be sought from the minister?
Well, the biggest problem is where you get the allocation for building these things. We understand that it comes from the Integrated Resource Plan, and the Integrated Resource Plan that we have right now is the 2010 Integrated Resource Plan. It doesn't have an allocation for small-scale embedded generation. So the draft one has that, but it's not been finalized. And there's been great participation and great lobbying that's been done to the minister and various other government departments to make sure that this kind of market is actually being fulfilled and addressed. And since it's such a big market and there's great appreciation and desire to participate in it, I think the minister made this deviation in order to appease that particular desire.
So how easy is it then, Happy, for those of us who might be interested in rooftop solar to do this sort of thing? It sounds, just from the phrase, rather simple, but I imagine it's not something that's just as easily done.
It's not that easy because we still need to get the final regulations from NERSA and they need to publish them. And part of those regulations, it means that there must be a process where they evaluate what kind of generation you're going to have. If your household is going to be generating a certain amount, you have to get the necessary certificate and you need to communicate how much and how much you'll be feeding back into the grid. So there are some technical requirements that still need to be met.
Happy Kambule, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.